Welcome to Heart, Soul, Mind, and Strength, where we work toward loving God with everything that makes us human. Today we're going to be talking about civil discourse and how understanding our level of certainty of our various beliefs can help us navigate conversations with grace and effectiveness. So let's get into it. One thing that we all have in common is the fact that we all have a substantial number of things that we believe are true. Unfortunately, a lot of those beliefs are actually not true. The real challenge is that we're not sure which ones are true and which ones aren't. We have all sorts of beliefs about all sorts of things. We have beliefs about what's going to happen in the future. The sun will rise. There'll be a game on tonight at 7 o'clock on Channel 10. We're having roast beef for dinner tonight. There are other beliefs that may be more questionable. Working up a sweat at the gym is a great way to burn calories and get in shape. News anchors are telling us the truth. Santonio Holmes did, in fact, get his second foot down for the game-winning touchdown catch in Super Bowl 43. Our entire lives are influenced and informed by the various things we believe. Some beliefs are pretty inconsequential. Someone introduces themselves, tells us their name, and we believe that is, in fact, their name. They could be lying, but we generally tend to believe them, and even if they gave us a false name, in most cases, it doesn't really make that much of a difference in our lives. There are other things we believe that have a more significant impact on our lives. Like the supposed catch by Holmes in 2009, where the famous photo of the catch clearly shows only one foot making contact with the ground. Perhaps more significant than that, though, we believe there are certain things we ought to teach our children. We believe that there are certain solutions to problems that affect our families or our community. We believe that certain people are doing certain things around the world for good or for ill. We believe that God exists and is all loving and good, or we don't. The challenge with some of these beliefs is that other people may have beliefs that are in direct conflict with what we believe ourselves. In those situations, what do? Well, as much as it sounds cliche and even rather unhelpful, the answer is, it depends. Now, of course, since we're not talking about any one specific thing, it depends on any number of factors. But the one area common to pretty much all of these situations that I'd like to focus on right now is certainty. Of all the various complex constellation of beliefs we have, we hold many of these beliefs with varying degrees of certainty. There are some things about which we are very certain, and others, not quite so much. When we get right down to it, there are very, very few things about which we can be absolutely 100% certain. For example, I am absolutely certain that 1 + 1 = 2. I know that fact to the extent that there is no argument that could be made that would ever be able to change my mind about it without altering the meaning of one or more of the terms in that statement. Now, apart from mathematical truths, I can't think of a single thing about which I am 100% certain, except maybe that I exist. Hat tip to Rene Descartes. When it comes to perhaps every other belief I hold, I recognize that there is at least some possibility that I could be wrong. For some things, my certainty level is relatively low. When it comes to those things, if they come up in conversation with someone who holds an opposing belief, I might not advocate very hard for my position because the chances are higher in those cases that I could be wrong. In having a discussion with someone with an opposing view, I might change my belief, or perhaps my degree of certainty. If my position does not stand up well to scrutiny, my certainty decreases. If it does stand up, it increases. There are certain other things that I've spent more time investigating, researching, looking at arguments on various sides, assessing the strength of those arguments in order to come to a reasonable conclusion about what I believe to be true or not true. For those sorts of things, my certainty level is a good deal higher, and it's going to take a lot more work for someone to sway me away from that particular belief. When it comes to discussing conflicting beliefs, particularly if the subject is one that has potential to have a significant impact on people's lives, things can sometimes get a little heated. It would be best if we could avoid angry, impulsive reactions and have a calm and respectful discussion, though I know that's far easier said than done. Coming from a biblical worldview, I try to keep in mind a few passages from the Bible when engaging in discussions with someone who disagrees with me on something significant. Now, note that I said that I try to keep these things in mind, not that I'm completely successful every single time. Here are 3 passages I try to think about and allow them to inform my interactions during these kinds of discussions. Romans 3:23, "For all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God." This passage reminds me that we are all flawed. None of us is perfect. It's a great reminder that while I think another person might be wrong, I have to keep in mind that it might be me who's wrong. Therefore, I should engage with other people with a certain amount of humility. I'm not perfect, so it could be that I'm the one who has to change my position on any given issue. How about this one? Proverbs 18:7. "The one who states his case first seems right, until the other comes and examines him." I like this one because I've noticed that it's increasingly a problem in today's culture that people retreat to their own echo chambers when they're confronted with ideas that they disagree with or they just don't like. If we're seeking truth, our beliefs have to be able to stand up to challenges. If we just stay in our corners and surround ourselves with people who already agree with us, we can't learn anything. The body only gets stronger when it's forced to adapt to heavy loads. If we never challenge our bodies to exert more force, our muscles will atrophy and will become weak and sick. The same is true for our beliefs. If we don't challenge them with contrary ideas and arguments, they become weak and useless. This is especially the case if that particular belief happens to be one of those that turn out not to be true. The longer we hold on to untrue beliefs because we're afraid to allow them to be challenged, the more likely those beliefs are to cause actual damage in our lives or in the lives of other people. Finally, there's this little nugget. James 1:19. "Know this, my beloved brothers, let every person be quick to hear, slow to speak, slow to anger." This verse is a real challenge for me. I included it here not because I do a great job following it, but because I know that I ought to. Of the 3 passages I've shared, this one is by far the most challenging for me. There are certain areas where I can be overly sensitive and my skin tends to be somewhat thin, and when those areas are poked, I'm more likely to react. Reacting is bad. Responding is better. So, when you're engaging in a conversation with someone who disagrees with you on some significant issue, I want to encourage you to think about the level of certainty you have in your own position. If you're less certain, avoid digging in your heels and be open-minded. Even if you are very certain, remember these 3 things. Number 1, nobody is perfect, including you. It may be you who has to change your position. Number 2, having your views and beliefs challenged helps you get closer to truth, and it refines your beliefs so that you can be more confident about them. And number 3, listen carefully to what other people are saying, and don't react in anger or spend your time thinking about what you're going to say next. Aim for clarity and understanding. Here's another belief that I have. If more people, including myself, were to do things this way, there would be much less anger and division in our culture, our country, and our entire world. I hope this was helpful and thought-provoking for you. Please feel free to leave me any feedback you may have, respectfully, of course. Also, I'd like to ask you a quick favor. Since this project is so extremely brand new, I need your help to get more eyeballs on it. By sharing feedback or linking back here, it'll help get the word out. And nothing works better than sharing it with everyone you know. You can also subscribe so that you're the first one to get any new content. So stop by the website regularly since I'll be adding more resources and you don't want to miss that. And you'll find a link to the website in the notes. Thanks again, and I look forward to sharing the next exciting topic with you.